So obviously we're not getting any E3, but we've loads of developers have been doing Twitch streams showing what they're bringing out in the holidays. You know, the new Xbox, the new PlayStation 5.
New era.
The new era is coming. So this is probably the best time to do the top 5 consoles before going into the next gen.
Of all time. The best consoles of all time.
Yeah, obviously our opinions.
The best list of all time.
Yeah.
Obviously, but it's the best opinion, so...
Yeah, of course, exactly.
Of course.
I mean, I am the best person.
For this, yeah. And that's why Amber's not here, by the way.
Oh, yeah, so I forgot to mention that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's poor, yeah.
Yeah, Louis here. You know, he's going to help me with this list. We're both great gamers, so...
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
So our number 5 pick was Nintendo 64, released in 1996, and this was actually my first Nintendo experience. So like, This is my first one where I played Super Mario 64. I played Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart 64, Pokemon Stadium 2. It was actually the first console to have an analog stick, Lou. How mad is that?
Yeah. 1966 first. It really set the trend there with its the first controller to have analog stick, and it was the first major console, the first console to have 3D graphics as well. So like, two things nowadays that you look at and you're like, this is so standard.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Back in 96 when the Nintendo 64 came out, it was just like, wow.
Yeah, I
this
know.
is revolutionary.
Yeah, I mean, apart from keyboard and mouse, I can't imagine like moving a character without an analog stick. Just using a D-pad just seems weird. But like,
because even you had the PS1 that came out not far from this time, and you had like analog sticks. And I don't know if anyone's played on a PS1 controller recently, but it just feels so weird not to have an analog stick on the controller.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It's just, it doesn't feel right on your thumbs. It's just
no, it doesn't. It doesn't. No, yeah. But like you said, the games that came out on this console. One thing I do love about the Nintendo 64 is how easy the game titles are. So you had Star Fox 64, Bomberman 64, Donkey Kong 64. Very creative.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, put 64. You know what console it is. You know, you put 64.
You just
know
slap it next to it, and there you go. Oh, this is for the 64, the Nintendo 64. It's perfect.
Yeah, Nintendo knew what they were doing. It was also it was the last console to use cartridges, like gaming.
It was an end of an era.
Yeah. Can you imagine? You're like, when it wasn't loading properly, you would just blow it and it would magically work. You thought you were like an engineer. Yeah,
that's it, wasn't it? Yeah, it's like, oh, here he comes, just give me an enemy. Apparently, they were worse to do that, even though apparently blowing into the cartridges actually messed up a little bit more. But for some reason, it just seemed to work.
Oh, really?
I think you'd push dust further into it, but you might clear up the majority of it. But apparently, it messed up a little bit more each time. But yeah,
okay.
I mean, I don't think anyone's blowing cartridges right now, but if you are, don't. don't do it.
Yeah,
but
just don't.
It's such an iconic console in this terms. It sold 30 million units worldwide, and the one thing about this console that I discovered whilst putting all together my research is that imagine the outrage now, or just the disappointment, because when this console first launched, outside of Japan, there was only 2 games launched with it, which was the Super Mario 64
only 2
and
games.
the Pilot Wing 64. Only 2 games was launched outside of Japan.
Wow.
I forgot what the third one was. It was inside Japan. It was some Japanese game which I can't remember from the top of my head. But if you imagine if they launched the PS5 this year, so there's only 2 games, Ratchet and Clank and Star Wars Squadron or something, like some flying game, and that's it. It'd be crazy.
No, it would be crazy. Yeah, I think it helped a lot that Super Mario 64 was such a good game. If Super Mario 64 was a terrible game, then it wouldn't have picked
100%.
up as well as it did. I heard that N64 was actually an underseller in Japan for the fact because it didn't have a lot of RPGs compared to PlayStation. I just thought that's crazy. Because you know how big Pokemon and Mario is.
The Japanese like their RPGs still. You only give them their RPGs, they don't want to know. They do not want to know.
But
true, it undersold in Japan, but it did really well in America and whatnot. So there's a bit of balance there. But yeah, it's such an iconic console with the games. You remember GoldenEye 007 as well on that.
Oh yes, GoldenEye was so sick. Yeah, it was one of my first like multiplayer games.
It was so much fun.
Like first
so
person
much fun.
Yeah, it was sick.
So number 4 is the PlayStation 4, which I think is the most modern console we have on our list today. It is. And for good reason. I know it's a bit new and people are like, it's a bit biased, but I call bullshit on that. I think I call bullshit because I genuinely think the PlayStation 4 probably has the best exclusive game library of any console in history.
I mean, I have to agree with you. I think like a lot of these exclusives obviously were in like PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1, but they've made it so much better with the mechanics and
the storytelling and like that. These were just fun games back in their days, like the God of Wars and stuff like that. They were just fun games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
On PlayStation 4, they took these fun games to a next level of storytelling.
Oh, it's amazing. I love God of War.
This is what I mean. You get a PS4, I can give you God of War, Spider-Man, Bloodborne, you got Horizon Zero Dawn, Uncharted 4, The Last of Us, you got Remastered and number 2, you got Detroit Become Human, you got Ratchet and Clank, Days Gone, and the recent one that just came out, Ghost of Tsushima. That's just a ridiculous level of exclusive games there, and they're all fantastic games.
No, you're right. Ghost of Tsushima, I'm pretty sure, in the last X-Span of PlayStation's 4 life, and you get that game.
It's fantastic.
Come on, it's just too good. Compared to Xbox One, that was the selling point as well. When you were comparing exclusives, Xbox One did not have this many elite exclusives. You just have to give it up to the first party developers. Guerrilla Gaming, Naughty Dog, Insomniac Games, Santa Monica, Sucker Punch. They all did great things. Also, the DualShock 4
is fantastic.
Is one of the best controllers. I love it. The touch sensor pad and the speaker to add immersion when you're playing PlayStation 4 games. People use it for PC
I think,
as well.
And when you mentioned the Xbox One as well, I think one of the reasons why I think this is one of the best consoles of all time is that it absolutely blew Xbox One out of the water. I think Xbox One in its lifetime has sold about 60 odd million units, which is pretty impressive anyway. But the PS4, which released in 2013, it's the second best selling console of all time now. It's sold over 110 million units. That's just a ridiculous. You can't ignore that. You just cannot ignore its sales and the level of exclusive it's had. And for that, I think Sony absolutely smashed this current generation of consoles, and it's well deserved. But the only thing I remember we mentioned this, we discussed this earlier. The only thing that was holding it back from being even further up the list was that I still find in 2020 its internet browsing is shocking. It is such a nightmare to browse on the internet on the PS4, and then in this day and age, there's no excuse.
I know what you mean. And also, it's just because of these games have such amazing graphics and they use the best technology that Unreal or any game engines use. It's just such a loud console. It's so loud.
I'm on my second. I had to buy a PS4 Pro because my original PS4 got to that point where I just couldn't focus on the game because the fan was just so loud.
Yeah, I remember one of our housemates. He had a PlayStation. You played it all the time. We could hear it from downstairs.
And I know all this bullshit is because of the dust. You can clean these PS4s and they will still sound so loud after a day's time. That was the design of the fan on the PS4 is shocking, and I think that's why it's just not the perfect console because of that.
Yeah, that's probably why they've gone for a bigger design for the PlayStation 5. Which I appreciate.
Imagine, that's going to be a very loud jet if it does have the same problems as the PS4.
For our number 3 pick was the Nintendo Wii, which was released on the 19th of November 2006.
Very precise.
I have to be precise, man. People are looking up at us, There's pressure. But the great thing about this console was the motion sensor technology. It was so immersive. It was included with one of the best games still, Wii Sports. Wii Sports is still sick.
It's a bit weird because it was bundled with the Nintendo Wii, they still count it as a game sold, and because of that, the Wii Sports is the 4th best-selling game of all time. It's behind Tetris, GTA 5, and Minecraft.
Nintendo knew. They knew what
82
they were doing.
million
Nintendo
copies. There's more people had the Wii Sports than the Xbox One. That's just how many people had the Wii Sports.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
But
that's so funny. I love the games in this console as well. New Super Mario Bros. Even though I'm terrible at platformers, but I was alright on that one. Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, Super Smash Bros.
Some good games.
Zelda Twilight Princess. Yeah, there's some great games. They didn't have the graphics compared to the PS3 and the Xbox 360, but because they had that new technology, and because it was it involved a lot of co-op play with your friends and family, that it was such a great.
I think that's why I rated the Wii so much, because it was probably one of the first consoles to come out and just appeal to any demographic. You know, you had older people picking it up to play like Wii Fit and stuff like that, to keep fit and stuff. You had little kids playing the Wii Sports and stuff like that. Apparently, I don't know how true this is, but apparently the Queen of England had a Nintendo Wii. Yeah. And like, yeah, I mean, I can't imagine she's a massive fan of consoles, but the Nintendo Wii was just that appealing. It just had that, it was just so easy to pick up and play with like your own grandchildren and stuff like that. The Queen of England picked it up. Like,
I wonder what she was playing. She was definitely playing.
Do you reckon she ever played online?
I think, yeah, she was playing online. I don't know about. I mean, maybe. I think if I was a royal, I'd play online.
Yeah, I wonder if she ever.
Yeah, imagine the sound system you'd have.
But yeah, like with the Wii as well, I love. You had so many cool accessories with it, like the Mario wheels, the wheel for it for Mario Kart. You had the nunchucks as well for the boxing and stuff. Like, it was just such a cool console. And like Nintendo, it was completely different to like what you said. Rather than just focusing on graphics like the Xbox and PS3 were doing, Nintendo just thought, let's just do this different.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's such a fun console to play. One of my favourite games on the Wii was, I don't know if you played this one, I reckon you did, was Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. What a classic. Oh, yes. What a classic game.
That was a great game. Yeah.
So competitive. There were friendships broken.
You bring your friends and family.
Like, the sprinting and like all those fun little events. It was and just having Sonic and all that. Was that the first time they had Sonic in the game like that with Mario? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it was. Because they released it on DS as well.
It was just so surreal having like Mario and Sonic line up on a racing track. It was Beijing, I think it was 2008. I think it was in Beijing. And like just having these iconic characters. I mean, both characters have got such a wide like library or gallery of characters, and just having them all like compete in the Olympic Games was just such a cool game. Yeah, no, I'll give it to Nintendo. They know how to innovate. Like they obviously know how to like. I think they're more focused on like changing how gaming's done rather than just and bringing people together as well. Like they've done it with the Nintendo Switch and all that. Again, their main focus is that you can just take it around to your friend's house, hook your controller up, and then just play games with your friends or your family or relatives, whatever. Like, I think it's such a good console because of that. And like I said, it was the best-selling console of its generation. It sold 101 million units, so it beat out the PS3 at the time and the Xbox. So it was the best-selling console of its generation. So I think for that reason alone, something that was completely brand new and nobody knew it just deserves such a good spot on this list. So our number 2 pick is the Xbox 360, and I think when you first think of the Xbox 360, you probably wouldn't have it this high up your list. But the reason why I think we put it this high is because, for me anyway, it revolutionised multiplayer. Yeah, I think what you're doing now on your PS4s and your Xbox Ones or whatever, it all came from the Xbox 360 and Xbox Live. Like, they took the Xbox Live concept from the original Xbox and they just changed it up. Like, you could be playing games, downloading games online, getting demos online. You could stream music and TV through the Xbox Music, the Xbox Video. Like, Microsoft took that concept of playing online and they just took that, and they absolutely smashed the PS3 out of the park with it online. I had a PS3, I didn't have an Xbox 360, but whenever I went round to a friend's house to play Xbox 360, I was always just amazed by like how well they implemented online, like hooking up with friends and chats and stuff. No, you're right. Like, I remember, some of my friends had both, but I think because so many people had an Xbox 360, there was just no point having a PlayStation 3. There was just like all of the popular games that came out as well, like Modern Warfare 2, all of them had early access on Xbox 360. So like you're just missing out if you just had a PlayStation 3. Yeah, I agree. I think, and that's the thing, when you think of like Call of Duty, I know it's still doing really well, but for me, Call of Duty in its prime is those like the Call of Duty Black Ops, and I just associate those games with the Xbox 360. No, I agree. It was like, it just worked hand in hand. It also had better, I think it had better exclusives. I preferred Forza. I preferred Forza. Crackdown
Gears of War, Halo 3, Halo Reach.
Oh, Halo 3. Halo 3 made me jealous, man. I think Halo 3 was the game that made me want to get an Xbox 360.
Halo 3 was amazing.
Oh, I was only a little kid. I didn't have the luxury of being able to buy another console. But Halo 3 was definitely one of the main reasons why I went around a friend's house to play their Xbox.
It was one of the best multiplayer games in that current gen. Fable 2 and Left 4 Dead 2. They were just both, and they had the Kinect. I didn't use the Kinect that much.
Yeah, the Kinect.
But like, it was also very creative. They obviously wanted to follow down the path that Nintendo Wii did with their motion 6 sensor.
Yeah, do you remember Milo?
Yes, I remember. Yeah, I remember Milo. Yeah.
I always found that so creepy, where you could buy a game and you can be friends with a 12-year-old boy. I honestly think Milo affected the Kinect and how it was perceived in the world, because it was such a weird trailer.
No, it was, yeah.
Like, out of all the cool things you can do with like that sort of technology, like you saw the Nintendo Wii, like years when obviously Nintendo Wii came out, or a few years before the Kinect did, like showing off the sports side, and someone at Xbox thought, yeah, let's just show how you can befriend a child virtually. I was like, it's such a weird thing to showcase, but it was still such a cool piece of technology.
Oh no, it was. It was very gimmicky at the same time, because obviously it's the first gen of it, so no one expected it to be amazing. But the fact that Microsoft added it as an addition to such a great console anyway just made it so good.
So I don't know if you know this, but you had Netflix launched on the Xbox 360.
Oh, wow.
It was basically their first genuine attempt to get an online service, and Xbox 360. Yeah, Xbox 360 was the first one. They also launched the Twitter and Facebook app on the 360.
Yeah.
But they were crap. The apps were crap. You might as well just use the laptop and do what you needed to do a lot faster. But I think that mindset to just try and make it an online sort of console and bring all those sort of connections onto this console, I think it just has to sort of be a mind.
No, definitely. Yeah, they kept evolving their console. Like, they obviously wanted to make it just a massive entertainment system, which Xbox One didn't do as well, unfortunately.
I think they would try. I think what Xbox 360 did so much better than the Xbox One is that it still remembered it was a gaming console, but including all these multiplayer online aspects to it and all these like streaming and stuff, whilst Xbox One was like, we're going to be an entertainment hub that's also a gaming console. I think that's where they went wrong with the Xbox One, but I think that's why the Xbox 360 was just that good. It hit that balance perfectly.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So for a number one pick, it was PlayStation 2, which was released in the year 2000, and it's the highest selling game console with 157 million. I just think that's crazy. That's mad. That's
ridiculous.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, just to put in perspective, the second best-selling console is the PS4, which you mentioned earlier, and that sold 40 million less units. Like, the gap there is just ridiculous. Like you said, the PS2, the amount of people that had a PS2 was just ridiculous. I don't think it'll ever be touched as well.
It won't.
I think that record is going to stay there for a very long time.
It's just so good. Like when we were talking about the PlayStation 4 and what exclusives they had, like most of them started from the PS2 era.
Yeah, they were all born on the PS2.
Yeah,
like,
they were all born in the PS2
the mother.
era. Yeah, it was the mother of amazing games. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. No, you're right. Like you had the Gran Turismo series. That's when Gran Turismo was the top dog in racing for me. It absolutely dominated the early 2000s. I know you had like you said, the God of War series started on the PS2.
Yeah.
You had such a birth of platformers like Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Dexter, and Crash Bandicoot and Sly Cooper.
Yeah.
You had all these. I don't know. There's a few games that was more up your street. The old Kingdom Hearts series. I know that's.
I love Kingdom Hearts. Final Fantasy as well.
Yeah.
I love Final Fantasy X is one of my favourite games. It's just
it's a classic, yeah.
No,
I didn't even really play the Final Fantasy series, but wasn't that the only one that had its own sequel?
No, it was. Yeah, it was.
That's how good it was on the PS2. And we also had iToy as well. Did you ever have?
Yes, I had an iToy. iToy was so funny.
iToy.
It was so funny.
The old Wish Wash game and stuff like that, and the fireworks.
Yeah, cleaning the screen. You had the beach ball game
Such a good little piece of technology, and it all happened on the PS2. I don't know if you knew this as well. So I mean, you probably did, but the PS2 it was the first console to introduce discs, DVD discs as well. No longer did you need to have the cartridge. And the crazy thing was, when the PS2 was retailing, so you could play a DVD on it for the first time, it was actually retailing cheaper than some high-spec DVD players.
Oh,
so
really?
Rather than spend a fortune on the brand new DVD player, you can just buy yourself a PS2 and play games and watch your Matrix.
No, that's cool.
That's what I mean. It was probably one of the first consoles to think about how it can be an entertainment system for the whole family.
No, that's really good. Like, look how many people that just have a PS4 and just use it as a Blu-ray player, and then PlayStation 2 is just doing it ahead of time. That's really cool.
It was a smart move on them to do that.
No, definitely. I remember my sister bought a dance mat for my PlayStation 2. I just at the time I was like, well, this is dumb. But thinking back at it, that's really cool, because apart from that, you would only play those dance games in arcades, like in the bowling alleys and stuff like that. That's also like quite cool technology that they've included. And like we said before, they just had so many sick games.
It's just such an iconic piece of software. Like, even when the PS3 and the Xbox 360 and the Wii came out, Sony was still supporting the PS2 till about 2013. 13 years after it was released, because it became so popular in poorer countries, still so cheap up, and you still had like all like the FIFAs and stuff still being released on it. So you had all these more poor countries picking up. So I think for that reason as well, like, it's just such a global console that everyone basically had at some point in their lives.
No, it's great.
It's just a fantastic console.
It is, I mean, it's probably my favourite in my childhood. The ones I played 100%. In my childhood is definitely
it was the first console I had. The first console game I had was the PS2 and Ratchet and Clank.
I was lucky enough to have a Nintendo 64.
I had a Game Boy. Instead.
But
can I please get a Nintendo 64? Not here's your Game Boy without any colour.
No 3D graphics for you. Basically, that's what your parents said to you.
Like, that's what I was told. Here's your little night light so you can actually play at night time.
But I also love the compatibility as well, because I never played any of the PS1 games because I had Nintendo 64. So I remember playing the old school GTA, the top-down view, the 2D ones, and Tekken 3. I just love that now.
I think they were saying that I think San Andreas, I think just on the PS2 alone sold about 17 to 20 million copies alone on the PS2.
Wow.
And I think the GTA series is definitely something that the early series of it is something I associate with the PS2, playing like the Vice City and the San Andreas and all that. Like, I associate those games with PS2.
Yeah, definitely. GTA was so iconic.
I mean, we don't know though, Dill, because we weren't 18, so we definitely didn't know. We don't know how to play those sort of games with PS2.
All I played was Spyro.
I definitely wasn't given a copy of GTA from an older family member to play with without telling my parents.